Hey fam, welcome back to another episode of I'm Telling You.
I'm telling you.
What do you do? What,
Like, the way you just like. All right.
2 weeks in a row that you've messed that up.
Been on for less than a minute and I've already derailed us. That's my job. That's what I do.
But yeah, as always, your host, Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
And our fact checker extraordinaire.
JD.
Yeah, and if you want to get a hold of us, we actually have a new email. So this one's much easier. It's just ITY at directionsandmusic.org.
That's ITY at directionsandmusic.org.
Yeah, I know. So now you don't get no more double L's. Ha ha. I took it away from you. That's what I did. And actually, it was just...
And now you get to keep one, and we don't have one for the show.
Well, right, because, yeah, I'm going to have... I have my personal, which is Philly D, PHILLYD, at directionsandmusic.org. And then you got yours.
Gemini, GEMINI.
At directionsandmusic.org. Yeah, so you can get a hold of just one of us, or you can actually hit all of us up. So, yeah, if you hit it to ITY, you'll get any one of us, and one of us will always respond. So, yeah, please, by all means, continue that conversation, reach out to us, and we'll go from there. See what happens.
Sure will.
Yeah, as well as, first-time listeners, this is a 30-year friendship. Just two dudes chopping it up, making fun of each other. Dad quotes.
Talking about nothing and everything.
Dad jokes, movie quotes.
Dad jokes.
No, dad quotes, because we do quote our dads. So it's technically
true. There is truth to this. It's a truth fact.
Yeah, a little Freudian slip, but I guess it's honest. There you go.
Got your merds wixed.
Yeah, I did. Well, I put the correct emphasis on the wrong syllable, but
That's okay.
It. Still got it there.
I think they know our heads at this point, right?
Well, I mean, if they've been listening this long, so first time listeners, you're like, what is going on? Everybody else is just like, yeah, that's about right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, look at that. Yeah,
who knows?
2 minutes
we might
in.
Talk about Gremlins, Transformers. We might
Even
talk
probably.
About, I don't know.
Most likely.
Something scientific or philosophical or spiritual.
I mean, we have discussed quantum physics and string theory. Yeah, concept of time. But we've also just sat here and made fun of each other.
Or try to make connections between the scientific and the spiritual, right? The new book I've been reading and all that stuff kind of ties everything all together. Like I was saying, it seems like he's drawing from a lot of...
Dr. Dispenza.
Dr. Dispenza.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what...
Dr. Joe.
Yeah, Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah. And just to announce it again, in his book, Becoming Supernatural is the name of it. But yeah, how many connections he makes with kind of Eastern spirituality and how it has basis in scientific fact now that your physiology can change based on your mood, basically. Your ability to keep in a high vibrational rate.
I mean, I can agree with a lot of that. What do you want to call it? The Eastern philosophies where they talk about, your chi and having different points in your body where that chi flows in and out and having all that stuff aligned. So it's not even like the idea of chakras, but it's even further because it's points on your wrists and your hands and your elbows. And I mean, it's everywhere.
Well, I think Dr. Joe broke it down to the actual electromagnetic force field that's around the human body.
That's exactly where I was going with that.
Right, exactly. So that if that's in a state of harmony, your physical health is more liable to be in a state of harmony. And that possibly a lot of the things that trouble us, physically, whether it's disease or just some kind of acute symptom that pops up now and then.
That's such a disease.
That it could all,
Dude, I had to go there.
It could all be related to being out of balance in your polarity, basically.
Right.
And that if you were able to fix that, which in a lot of cases, it seems it's all in your head, man. How many times have we said that? I mean, it's all in your head.
I say that a lot. I mean, even when I was raising my kid, that's a lot of what I explained to her. I was like, dude, it's literally all in your head, kiddo. If you think it will happen. If you focus on it, that's what will be. Especially, and it's the same thing with how we perceive stuff. we were talking about the one time where it's like everything that you think you're seeing or smelling or, touching or tasting, any of that kind of stuff, that's your brain's interpretation of information.
What was the other one? Whether you think you can or you can't.
Well, yeah.
You're right.
You are correct. Yeah, it's the Henry Ford one. But yeah, that's why, it goes beyond just a mindset. It really does manifest itself because, you're literally watching a movie inside your head. Your eyes aren't showing you this. Your eyes are perceiving it. Your brain is showing you that information as this.
One of the cool takeaways I get from reading the book, just in the readings I've done just today on the book, is like this whole reality around us that our senses don't pick up, but we're aware of because we have machinery now that we've developed to be able to pick up on it. Stuff like, we see a certain spectrum of light. We hear a certain spectrum of radio or auditory frequency with vibration within the air. But anything above or beyond a certain, endpoint in our spectrum, it just disappears. It's as if it's not there at all. So you imagine all the rest of reality, or the small snippet that we call reality. And is that, really real? It leaves a whole lot of space. Like you said about whoever quoted the 98% of your DNA is throwaway.
Yeah, the throwaway DNA. Actually, you said that. I quoted you for saying that.
Yeah, and I forget who I was quoting.
I think you were quoting Dispenza, where he talks about how others say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that we haven't figured out. It's like, well, we don't. It's whatever.
I don't know what the actual percentage is, but I like the way he looks at it. That he looks at it more like maybe that's just building blocks that are out there to grab to put together your life and your physiology the way you want to.
See, and I equated that to Joe Rogan talking to Jesse May. They're talking about how the way we connect, as the example being, you think of something and it happens, right? Or you think of somebody and all of a sudden they call you. And this goes beyond like mom, child, family relations. So it's not a blood connection like twins kind of a thing. It's this literal of any human that is allowed to connect to another human. You just thinking about them and all of a sudden something happens because of that. So is having that ornate ability kind of like already on the surface, telekinesis is like right around the corner in a sense.
Which happened first though? Like did the event happen first and then you quote unquote perceived it, or did you perceive it as it was like?
Well, yeah, like did you think of that person because they were about to call you because they thought of you and you're like, you know what, I should totally call them.
Cause the event to happen, or
right,
or manifest it.
Yeah, well, and that's a concept. You start touching on like law of attraction with that.
Well, that's a concept where you start delving into a more spiritual nature, and it's interesting to see that it seems like Dr. Joe is trying to tie in the idea of the mystical being, hey, this can actually be scientific. And like looking at all kinds of medical studies, taking a sugar pill for 4 out of 5 people can provide the same cure in a sense as the actual medication.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
And the reason that works is because of this mind-body connection that I'm always hitting on. I know it's a number of times that I brought that up.
Wasn't that his placebo versus placebo effect?
Right. I think it was antidepressants was the study he was specifically talking about. But he said 4 out of 5 of the people that were on the placebo had the same effect had they had the actual medication because their mind believed it.
Right.
And because their mind believed it and they had faith in it, it didn't matter if it was real or not. That they're like he says, you get in that positive state of mind. It's easier to stay in a positive state of mind because you feel like you've had that magic pill and it's going to work. It's like this weird. It's like this weird.
Within the study of chronic pain, they've also noticed that patients that have hope, they end up healing better and faster.
Well, he says even things like pain. He's like, you wake up in the morning and you it's not until you go, oh, there's that pain in my shoulder.
Say you one more time.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to find a way to word it kind of like,
Well, then take a moment to collect your thoughts.
But, because you expect certain things to happen because of past events that you're emotionally tied to it. And that just in the thinking of it, if you were to take your consciousness out and put someone else's in, it's not your body that has the problem. It's kind of what he's saying that.
Well, yeah, that's a part of like dissociative disorder. You have alternate personalities, and each one has its own effect.
Yeah,
like each piece,
quite literally with something like that, like a personality within that group of people, within your head, sort of speak, that one of them could be physically allergic to peanuts,
right,
and the other one would not be.
Right, you can turn those on and off with that personality type. Yeah,
that it's linked to a state of mind.
I agree.
And I love the fact that someone's out there trying to kind of tie those things together and say, hey, maybe it is all in your head. Maybe.
I feel like this is a lot of like even what Bruce Lee did with Jeet Kune Do, where he tried to explain that like the rules of physicality, like the physics of this world, while they're rules, you can bend them. That's why he was quicker with less muscle in a sense.
Break them, but you can. But yeah,
well, because there's certain rules or constructs within, or certain context within the construct of this world that it's like you just can't get like gravity exists.
Like the 1-inch punch, bro.
Yeah, right.
With a guy I don't know. You'd have to look it up, but he was maybe 5'8". He wasn't a big guy. Maybe.
Wait, you mean the guy he did it to at the competition? Like the one that's videoed?
Bruce Lee himself. he was like, what, 160 pounds or something like that?
Something like that.
He was not a big dude, but he could, with a 1-inch punch, move somebody nearly twice his weight across the room. Like, or
not across
6 feet, 5 feet, whatever, from a 1-inch punch. I'm like, dude, and he would say, like, I'm basically moving the chi from the tip of my toe on my right foot all the way through my left hand. It's moving through my entire body.
Yeah, he's gathering all of that up.
The punch isn't starting at the arm or the shoulder or, even the torso. It's starting at your foot on the opposite side of your body.
Yeah, his moves were basically like when you take the towel and you like wet it and like roll it up, and so you go to snap it. There's all of that movement into it. Yeah, you're literally whipping. Isn't that what like a lot of what jujitsu and stuff like that's about? It's like taking your opponent's energy,
the whole body. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you take their energy and kind of redistribute it back to them. So you take their moves and use their energy to just roll it.
But you're not trying to stop their attack. You're just redirecting it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the different moves, you're really not exerting yourself as far as like that much energy. Your opponent's putting way more out there, so you're literally wearing them down without even having to like beat them up.
You're fighting without fighting.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I love that line.
Well, that's the concept, basically. The end all of that is it's a state of mind. The idea is to avoid the fight at all costs. So by redirecting it, that's the same thing you're doing, whether it's verbally, emotionally, you're just disengaging from having any, emotional attachment to the argument and let it, in probably most cases, fizzle out.
Let it go. Let it go.
And then I guess you get the Matrix-like view of the world where it just seems like you can
There is no spoon.
You can see the code, right?
Right.
Seems like that's how it's described anyway.
Well, and it extends the idea of, how we've talked about like lucid dreaming, being able to tie into the other side of things, as we call it, the Akashic records. It's
like there's actual knowledge there. It's not just your imagination. There's something you're tapping into that's
more than that. It's in a whole other, like you were saying before, it's that other side of things. So, that 98% throwaway DNA, those are the different things we could be unlocking where we could resonate on that alternate level so that we could see that alternate perception, parallel universe, whatever. Like, so we could legit tap in and out of it and like move ourselves. as well as, like astral projection and all that, like with just the thought.
I mean, I don't think it's all that uncommon. I mean, as humanity in general, I mean, I think most people have had moments in their life where they've kind of done something that they still can't explain. Like, suddenly knew that a loved one was in trouble, and when they reached out to them, they found out it was true, kind of thing, or even more mystical than that, whatever direction. But I mean, I think that's completely, but the ability to know and control it, and that's what I think is so fascinating about reading stuff like this, is that he's saying, through the proper meditative techniques, where basically you're trying to remove the self. I mean, it's trying to shed the ego for a moment and just disconnect from the body, as it were, as from the material world, which is, it's a meditative technique as old as older than written and spoken word.
I would want to be more in tune with my body, but still understanding on that greater level that I'm separate from my body.
Well, this is just during the meditation for the technique is basically what he's saying is to get in that area of creativity where you can turn on and off these markers, these genetic markers, or produce a protein that you need for something, or a steroid. I mean, like all these things, like maybe what's going on with the skin in my hands could be solved by just basically a meditative, breathing and focusing technique where you're in a way you're kind of separating yourself from your body, or even if it's just 15, 20 minutes.
And this is where I'm like,
and how healing that can be. And that
if this is the thing that you believe in, then you got to do it.
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah. What, are you challenging me?
No. Just that's what I do.
And I think
we've talked about that.
It starts with just having a positive frame of mind about things. So,
I think you should always have a positive frame of mind about everything.
And that's one thing that's really interesting about what he's telling you. Because I mean, when I think about it and I apply it to historically to moments in my own life, you realize that there's situations you found yourself in that because you judged them as bad or good, you acted in a different way. But had you not acted in a different way in reaction to that situation that fell on you, a greater fate could have befell you than what you experienced. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where there could have been an opportunity had you been open to it.
Your perception going in blocked you of the blessings that were about to happen.
Right. I mean, how often do you think that, and I don't know if you've ever reviewed moments in your life like that, where you're like, man, had I not been so stuck on this being like a terrible thing and actually kept my eyes open to what was going on, I might have actually benefited in the long run, or I might have gotten a piece of information that could have helped me out, or met a new friend, or saw something from a different perspective because I was willing to listen for a moment, I
self-reflect on a relative regular basis, and I do so to pull a lesson from it, to learn from it. So I bring up old shit so that I can learn from it, and then I move on.
And it could just be like, okay, say you're recapping something that happened to you during your day, whatever, and something I say, whether it's directly or not, like triggers a thought process that makes you see it from a whole different perspective. And
right,
it's weird how perception can change your whole, I could just say something silly in the moment, not even thinking, and you could kind of play off of that and run this little scenario in your head and go, oh, I totally missed that aspect of whatever it was,
Isn't that what we do here?
Yeah, well,
isn't that the whole purpose? No, the whole purpose of this show is we know that there's at some point we're going to discuss something, say something, be a part of something that's going to change things for the better. And we have no idea what it is, but we're aware that that's our part and we're going to play it. Yeah. I mean, we've already done it for ourselves and other people around us. So we know it's already worked in that fashion, but
we were just talking about the old episode that we'd.
Oh yeah. From series 1.
Yeah. We were just talking about that from the green room in series 1, right? It was
both episodes. We actually I mean, yeah, one had more specific information, like a story and whatnot that you're talking about, but both of those were for the same exact reason.
And actually, I keep coming back to that when I'm reviewing our current content, is that I would like to go back to that whole, and I hate to say like a PSA type thing, but I something clicked with me, and I know it did with you too. That moment during the episode that we're talking about where we kind of broke the wall for a moment and said, "Hey, anybody out there, don't ever go to bed angry. Make sure you say I love you to the people that matter to you, because you don't know if you're going to see that person ever again."
Right.
You know, you could wake up in the morning, you could not wake up. That person, maybe something happened. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you could walk out your door and get run over by a bus. I mean,
it's the greater point is just be appreciative of what you have. So instead of cursing your spouse or one of your loved ones or a friend or somebody at work or any, like, instead of being
over something that, like, when you, in the big picture, the big scheme of things, like, is it really that important?
And well, I mean, regardless, whatever level of whether it should or shouldn't be, it should never be, because every moment you have is precious, and you should be trying to and you should be trying to utilize it to its nth degree. You should be appreciating every moment that you have, even if it's pain and suffering. I tell you, man, that was probably my biggest, hardest lesson, is being able to go back to my past, look at the pain that I had gone through, and instead of cursing it as a pain, seeing it as a place of growth. And from those places, like, I've only gotten stronger and more happy, like more loving, more everything, that of just positivity. You know, you just got to embrace your pain, man. Move past that stuff.
Well, and in some instances, I've been able to look at past events and go, it's so funny looking back on that now, how unimportant that would be had it happened to me right now. Like, but you know what I'm saying? But you were so engrossed by it, and it meant the world to you at the time, whether that's puberty and chemistry going on. I don't even know, but you don't have that fully formed frontal lobe yet. You know, you don't know who you are. So there's I always say, who?
Why are you saying what way? I will. Whiskey. Sorry. Oh, the safe word didn't work.
Anyway, what was I? Did you do that and I just totally lose my train? That's so funny.
I'm pretty sure you were pretty much wrapping it up anyways. I usually wait until you seem like you're closing to really interject with stupidity.
You totally derailed me there, but that's fair enough.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, well, I mean,
but this whole thing about how your perception of things that have happened, and because of your experiences in the past, because you're focused on the past, you're more doomed to actually recreate the same conditions to, Well,
that goes to the law of attraction, because that's what you're focused on. That's what you're going to get.
Oh, and that's what I was getting at. That in your youth, you set yourself up on this really topsy-turvy, in a way, like, so many things have to be right for you to be okay. Whereas I don't know, and that's just my experience. As I get older, it seems like, there's fewer and fewer things that really matter to me. So it doesn't feel like I have to balance everything on this, teeter-totter of all these things have to go exactly this way and balance out for me to feel good.
Right.
And anything that's off of that, so I am getting a little better at that as I get older. And I think that's what there's no one thing that I could pick out to say, oh, that's something that, I mean, okay, for example, and I never understood when I was younger, I still care about how I look, but, I mean, I was ridiculous when I was a kid. I was always so worried about, and some of that probably has to do with me being a little bit overweight, that, I was very particular about what I wore and how I wore, and that it matched, and that, and now as I get older, I'm like, I mean, it's clean, whatever, I'm good.
Right.
Worn it for 5 days. It doesn't smell yet.
I mean, as a man, I can admit to the smell test.
Just thinking the quote in Big Hero 6. I haven't done laundry for like 6 months.
I know. I
wear underwear for like 4 days. I wear it frontwards. I wear it backwards. I wear it inside out and frontwards and backwards.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, I don't do that. I actually wear clean
You just
clothes.
derailed us. Thank you.
Well, no, that is what I do.
With stinky humor. Literally.
The best kind.
It's so raunchy.
That's what you were saying that one night. It's like fart jokes just work. They're funny.
Dude, fart jokes are funny. I mean, farts are funny. So jokes about farts are also funny. It's like an ipso facto.
People talk trash on fart jokes. People talk shit on fart jokes.
I was like, no, that's not how that goes. There it is.
But everybody always ends up laughing at them. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's...
They're not my favorite, but they're a solid number 2.
See what I mean? Oh, we need a rim shot on that. But that was good.
Ding.
That's what I'm saying. No, her timing is impeccable. It's always on point. And you add quality content, that is for sure. Sometimes I think it should just be better if it was her and I, and not you. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Dude, I need you. I can't do this without you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that right. Is this Mike?
I need you. I said it.
Okay, I think I heard that.
Yeah. I need you. Is that better?
I'm not that emotionally needy. I just really, it does sound good, I gotta admit.
Some words of affirmation,
I don't care who's saying it, it sounds good. I need you.
Dude, no, oh, man, no, I always say that, like,
whatever it is you bring, I need a little of that in my life. I don't,
I don't care who's hitting on me, man. Compliment's a compliment. Thank you. I don't give a crap.
You had that before? Where
you want to tell me I look good? I'll say thank you very much.
A straight guy and a gay guy hits on you, and like you can just, hey.
Oh, so when I was younger,
I mean, I'm not into that, but word.
No, when I was younger, I was a barista, and it was across the bridge from New Hope.
And you had a ponytail?
A man.
No, at that point, no, I had started shaving my head.
Oh, okay. And I wasn't sure what.
Yeah, no, when I started working, right before I started working there, I'd already shaved my head, but. Yeah, no, quite a bit of the clientele were like older gay men, and not like old, but like older than I, because I'm 18, so they're like, like late 20s, early 30s, stuff like that. They would hit on me like crazy, and yeah, man, I'd play it up for them. Why not? I don't give a crap. You're going to tip me.
Point at the tip jar, just.
Oh, I was like, that typical like sassy waitress where it's like, just enough to put on a show, but like no touchy, no nothing. Like
you wish, like.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, like go ahead and play up with it for them. But yeah, no, you ain't going nowhere. I'm still leaving alone. Thank you very much. And yeah, they just, because my one dude that I work with, like.
I think that's true masculinity. Be comfortable enough to flirt with a gay guy and make it clear, like we're just joking. Like this is.
Oh, no, they would flirt with me. Games, I would just play back and just kind of like either play it off or just be like, well, if that's what you're thinking, and then just walk away. Like
I always worry about those guys that are like way over the top homophobes because I'm like, maybe there's really something there. Why are you so worried? Like, what are you trying to hide?
Well, that's like closet case kind of stuff,
right? It's always that like big burly jock that has to lift like 350 on the. I got to bench 350, man. I could. Yeah, whatever.
Well, and that goes
perception. He needs someone to perceive him one way because he's actually another.
Well, and like every 2 minutes, it's like you fucking gay, man. Like I always wondered about everybody that I ran into like that. That was like so homophobic, and who knows?
But some of that's also like nature and nurture. So how they're raised, the environment.
That's true.
Because their parents or parent or whoever raised them is so specific in one way. I mean, you saw, what was American Beauty?
Or the culture or environment they live in.
Well, yeah, like American Beauty, the next door neighbor, the dad was actually homosexual, and he was putting it on his kid that you can't be that. Well, he was literally projecting his own negativity because he was fighting his own feelings. And so because he was beating up his kid about it, it was like, no, it's all on him in the first place.
Because he doesn't like himself. It has nothing to do with his kid.
Yeah, but when you raise a child in that atmosphere where you're not being honest with yourself and you're projecting that negativity, like, what are you doing to your child? You know, that's what I loved about American Beauty. That was a really good movie because of that.
It was a dark, I mean...
Well, it really showed a lot of what deeper, dark, abnormal psychology is about. Like, it really did.
Well, it's not even... I mean, I wouldn't say some of that's not even necessarily abnormal. I mean...
Well, it's abnormal because it's not a consistent or general basis of most of the population. So it's an outlier in that sense. That's why it's called abnormal, because it's not the norm. But, you know, what's normal? It's just the average of everybody. So who cares?
And I think
it's just a way to describe, you know, its category of like what quantity or level that it's at.
So here we go yet again to have a tie-in with the 4 agreements, right? So you're talking about somebody who's not being truthful and honest with themselves, as well as not being truthful about who they are with the outside world. So,
and how if you're not going to be honest with yourself, you're not going to be honest with everyone else.
And how you can take that out on your kids, your coworkers, your
spouse, loved ones, neighbors,
or the skinny kid at the gym.
The skinny kid at the gym.
You know, like when we were growing up, like when we were kids, you know, like that was it was always if the jock was picking on somebody, it was always like either the fat kid or like the real, scrawny dude, who couldn't lift 50 pounds, much less 350. But it's like there was so much judgment there, and how much of that was projection, and
Well, right.
I mean, how important is it? Number one, right? That's why it's number one.
And that's what
be honest with yourself, and
just as you were talking about. Yeah, be impeccable with your word. Be
impeccable with your word is the way they put it, yeah.
But also, as you were just talking about, make no assumptions. So when people are picking on you, when they're giving you crap, you can't assume what it means, as well as don't take it personal, which means if they're being nice to you or they're picking on you, it has nothing to do with you.
They're projecting.
Yeah, because somebody's complimenting you. They're not complimenting you because of something you did. They're complimenting you because they want to, because it makes them feel good or it makes them feel a certain way.
Well, no, when you're complimenting somebody, maybe you're seeing an aspect of them that you like when you see in yourself.
So it's more likely
positive in nature, but
you're still projecting. Yeah,
because I think you were discussing that with me when I kept saying, well, most of the time you're like, no, always.
Yeah, you were always projecting.
Because there's always that aspect of it, because it's being perceived by the perceiver. It's being perceived by that.
And this is why
there's always a judgment there.
I've always explained why it's okay to do presentations and how you get people that typically don't want to speak. They have a fear of speaking in public. I'm like, here's the deal. You're always presenting. When you're talking to one person, when you introduce yourself, when you do anything, you're literally presenting yourself. So whether you do it to one person or 100,000 people, you're still doing what you do. You've always been a presenter. You just don't like doing it in front of a lot of people, because then you feel like people are actually like watching you. Who gives a crap? They're watching you because they want
them to watch me, but it's the fear of judgment. I mean, that's really what it is. It's the fear of judgment.
Well, not for everyone, but yeah, that's definitely a part.
And heaven forbid they should judge me as hard as I judge myself. Because, oh my God, that would be killer.
Dude, we're all our own worst critics, which is typically why most people are negative and project negativity. Right, but they're beating themselves up on the inside,
That's where that fear comes from, because, you make the assumption that they're going to judge me as least as bad as I judge myself, but that's usually not the case.
I've never been afraid of presenting or getting in front of people. I just never really wanted to, even though I do enjoy acting. Like, I've always enjoyed acting and wanting to do, presentation kind of stuff. But I never was like, it wasn't about doing it for a crowd. It was always just to do what I wanted to do and just kind of act and just act out. But,
to express yourself.
But just to be a goofball too, like just making voices, doing whatever. Like, I've always wanted to do that. I never wanted to do it in front of a large group because I could care less about that. That was never the point of it. It was always just for me to enjoy what I do and just loving me. As I got older, I just realized that, I might as well. People enjoy it. So
as you're talking, I'm remembering a conversation I had with a friend of mine. Actually, at the pool club I used to be a member of when I was growing up.
Swimming pool or shooting pool?
Swimming pool.
Okay.
So yeah, during the summers, I was a member of the local swim club, so that I could, anytime I want, from the hours that they were open. Anytime I want, I could ride my bike over there and hang out all day. And that was my summer entertainment.
Right. As was for a lot of kids in the area.
Right. Yeah.
Cheap babysitter.
And the conversation I mean, I can't remember any of it verbatim at this point, but I mean, the point of it was that I guess I had some kind of a realization. The way I put it to my friend was, I'm tired of I guess what I was really saying is I'm tired of worrying about what people think about me. And from now on, I'm going to be an asshole. That was actually the way I put it. But basically what I meant was I'm going to learn how to be myself and not worry about what other people think about me. And in a way, the next school year, because that was in the summertime, the school year that came right after that, right after the summer vacation, was markedly better than the previous. And I always think that how funny that was, that it started from a statement like, I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to be comfortable with allowing myself to be an asshole. Like, I'm going to put me first was kind of, I mean, if you were to put it in better terminology, I think now that I'm thinking about it, that's really what I meant.
Well, that you can be perceived as that from others and you don't give a crap.
I'm not going to be afraid of other people viewing me as an asshole anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was. It was the limitation of always feeling like I have to say or do something that everybody else does or says because I want to fit in. I think really that's the way I kind of put it to my friend at the time.
Okay.
Just as we're talking, I was remembering that memory in time, that moment.
So what you're telling us is that you became an asshole at a young age.
I made a conscious. That was what I said. That I made a conscious decision. Catch. I'm going to be an asshole.
He's an asshole.
And now, in review, I'm telling you probably more
ASS
in more personal terms what I'm viewing that as, and that's what that whole thought process that was going on at the end of what you were saying. It just kind of tied me into that. So anyway,
do you like being tied up?
I tied into that.
Untied?
Just.
I knew you were into some weird stuff. What's your safe word?
It's okay. You can tell me. You just kind of create this whole aura of weird.
What's your safe word? Don't. Oklahoma. No, I'm joking. Oklahoma is not my safe word. That's just funny.
What was the one in Eurotrip?
It's like feudal Hagen. Did you say feudal Hagen? Yes, I did.
It was typed down on like a thin little strip of paper.
Oh yeah.
It was like what? It was like.
Oh, it looked like a ticker tape from back in the stock market days when they got the freaking. It's like a 3-foot long Chinese fortune cookie.
Did you say? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, that's it.
Hagenflagen Hadelstein. And you're like, what?
Yeah, and then when he came out with next, what was it like?
It was a 3-headed monster. That was
it 3 or 5? I thought it was.
It might have been. I don't. It was. There was a lot, and it was motorized. He dude, this thing had a small engine on it,
like a weed whacker engine attached to it.
Oh, it might have been bigger than that. I don't know.
You've seen Eurotrip, right? Oh, come on.
A long time ago.
A long time. I've viewed it many a time.
Well, at least you've seen that because you haven't seen Star Wars. We're going to talk about that later.
Seriously.
I mean, it's been on while I've been in the room.
I've seen bits and pieces.
Haven't sat there long enough to watch the whole thing.
Oh, you're making me sad a little bit. My inner child is starting to weep at the moment, just so you're aware. This is what you've done to me.
Probably wasn't even Star Wars. It was probably A New Hope.
Oh, God.
It's probably what?
A New Hope.
Yeah, that's
when they never the title.
Yeah, when they changed it from being 1, 2, and 3 to being 4, 5, and 6 because that's its technical chronological order.
It was always 4, 5, and 6, but the original movie was just Star Wars. So if any,
I know
right. But the fact that it was produced
1977, by the way,
first, second, and third, that's to me they'll always be 1, 2, and 3. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there really is only 1, 2, and 3. I mean, all the rest, yeah, sure, great. You know, story's awesome, but yeah, no, 1, 2, and 3, that's it. Done.
Where in reality, by comparison.
So where is this?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Where is this spreadsheet?
It's in my computer.
Have we gotten?
It's in your pooter.
My computer.
Have we been adding to it?
I have not had a moment to actually sit down and go through movies, but I am staging for it because I'm adding a second monitor. So I just got some adapters so that I can.
So what he's saying is he opened the file and he glanced at it. He gave it a gander and then he closed it.
Well, no, I'm also doing equipment stuff too, because doing that taught me that the fact that I can use 2 screens, it's going to be better because then I can run the spreadsheet on one screen, the movie on the other, because I'm going to have to put data as well as like some information.
Data?
Yeah. And information per quote,
Mama.
as far as like what the quote is, and then also what its rating is. It'll have a timestamp where I can, you know, do a double tap as far as like start finish. It'll calculate that time. Once it's done, it'll add all that up, give me a ratio of how many minutes the movie is and how many minutes of it was quotable, as well as the average of all of those scenes with the 1 to 10 rating on each, what the general average of that. So, I mean, yeah, sitting down and doing that, I have it pretty much all planned out. I got to finish putting the equipment. I just got the adapter, so now I got to figure out which cable is going to work best and then get that worked up. So, yeah, it's coming soon. I'm getting there. That's why I'm putting all this stuff together.
Data.
Yeah, this is more than just a spreadsheet. Like
Nobody care about data.
I gotta set this up. No, data fine.
Data fine.
Data fine. Nobody care about data. Data's fine, okay? Data falling, and they tell me stairs. I know there's stairs. Data's not fine. Nobody care about data. I love me some data.
It's just a power.
Yeah, man. You know, he's 00 negative. Not 00 negative, 007. Yeah, Data's like one of the greatest characters of all time.
Slick shoes.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, hey guys, slick shoes. Oh, jeez. Yeah, blinders. And he just like pops those things. Oh, only problem, batteries don't last so long.
He blinded everybody in the room and then they just shut down.
Yeah. And his dad apparently is the same way. He's like, inventor, but horrible inventor. Like his stuff just doesn't quite work right.
It's like that
good
the salesman character in the Gremlins.
I was thinking that. Yeah, the father was the failed
buddy?
inventor. Yeah, that thing had like a Swiss Army knife with 85 attachments. It was ridiculous.
Had like an automatic toothpaste dispenser and
shaving cream and razor.
Yeah.
It had everything. It was just like a really large Swiss Army knife that just had everything on it. Like screwdriver, spare key.
Nobody wanted
razor.
Do you know what I call that? Convenience.
That's right.
Very well done.
That's right.
Very well done. This is what I'm saying. Her time is impeccable.
She fits right in. I mean,
yeah.
The idea of replacing her with somebody right now just seems atrocious.
This is
not going to happen.
That can't happen.
No, it's not. Well, that's what.
And we already quadrupled her pay. She's already getting high 20s. You know what I mean? Like,
whenever
I mean, they're virtual highs, but you know,
for now,
we still slap hands. Slap hands.
For now, we've been talking about maybe doing,
It's like the Bitcoin versus USD. It's still money, isn't it?
It's kind of real. It's
kind of real.
Well, money's kind of virtual anymore anyway. I mean, it's all digital currency.
See, really. And you know what? Remember in Max Headroom? Remember that? Right? The show Max Headroom? Nobody?
I remember the show, yeah.
Well, in that, they all had single currency that was only digital, and it was basically like you had a chip. And so when you went to like buy your groceries or go on the subway, anything, like you had to use your chip. So that if at any point in time they want to just take your money, your chip is just like,
oh my God,
no longer works.
Wait, no, this is a serious thing though. So in Switzerland, I believe it is. No, in Switzerland, they're actually microchipping the residents or like the employees that work in Switzerland. And they're using it as like transactions, like banking and everything. So like you swipe your arm to like get in the train and stuff like that. That's what they're trying.
And not even to be conspiracy theorist. Like I don't want that on my person because then somebody's just going to cut my freaking hand off at the wrist and take all my money anyway.
Well, I would assume that it's probably biometrics so that you would have to have it physically plugged in and it might be like DNA sensitive. So
people will find a way.
There's always a way.
And
necessity's a mother of all inventions.
Start heating and passing blood through the organ that you've cut off and just, keep it sustained.
The new identity theft.
I just got Army of the Dead. What is it? With Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead. There you go. With the freaking hand being chopped off and stuff.
The chainsaw.
Yeah,
hand.
but dude, just the hand like running around, just like charging stuff. Like, dude, the hand would be at like the strip club, just like, oh yeah, and it just like wipes its butt basically because it's its wrist. It's just like doo doo. It's just like all good, baby. Little hand getting lap dances. It's just the hand being on the bottom, getting suffocated.
Like Thing from the Addams Family, was it? Oh, crawling on your shoulder and stuff.
Yeah, there was a couple of them that did that. Because then there was also the
wasn't that from an old black and white movie originally?
I think so. I believe that was probably
some kind
the
of
original
weird voodoo thing where the guy's hand got taken over by this evil spirit, or was it an organ replacement or something? Do you remember that?
Wasn't Seth Green?
Idle Hands.
Idle Hands, yeah.
Is that really a Seth Green movie?
Well, yeah, he was one of the buddies. He wasn't the main.
But there was was it this hand attacking the person?
So his friend, his hand became possessed by the devil because the devil would come out. I think it was like every 100 years or something.
No, but I think there was actually an old black and white movie.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But we're on to Idle Hands now, so catch up.
It might have actually been called Idle Hands. I don't know. It might have been. Yeah, it might have been a remake. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, that's
because I seem to remember a movie called Idle Hands. It was an old black and white.
Could be. I don't know. We do have a fact checker that can.
Well, yeah.
On it.
May be wrong,
but yeah. So Idle Hands. It was the main character. His hand, just like like Evil Dead. His hand. His hand basically. I forget which. I think it was left or something. Because he was just a total stoner wastoid who did like nothing. So his hands were truly idle, right? All he did was like eat cereal, watch MTV, like play video games, just like, typical teenager kind of stuff, but like way, way too much.
He'd like pass out and the hand would just do its own thing. And
well, so his hand was becoming possessed because the devil had to come back like once every century and it would have to do it as like, it would take over the hand first and then attempt to take over the body. Well, I
swear to God, I think this was based on an old black and white movie.
It's possible. But yeah, so he chops his hand off. Oh. So just like in Evil Dead, it's like the same thing where the hand becomes possessed and he's like, oh, I'll just cut it off. It's like, dude, you just set that thing free. But yeah, Seth Green was one of the friends of him.
All right, we have a hand up over here. We may have some.
We do not have an idle hand. It's waving.
All right.
Hey.
So it does appear to be a black and white movie, but it was filmed in released in 1981, and it was called The Hand.
The Hand. Okay.
There you go.
So I knew there was something.
And he was a cartoonist.
Okay.
And what she's reading.
Well, he was a cartoonist whose hand is severed in an auto accident. His marriage and career fall apart, and then the hand mysteriously returns and on its own has a murder spree.
Okay.
Wait, wasn't there a movie about a guy who got a replacement heart, like a donor heart from somebody who died, but then they started taking on the personality of the...
Oh, yeah, he was like, it was a murderer's heart or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that was like late 80s.
Like Charles Lee Ray?
Yeah, like late 80s, early 90s or something.
Is that a good reference right there? Like the heart of Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, right. That's
Charles.
It's Chucky. Thank you.
Yep. That was Chucky, man.
Yeah, so I was like, why is it not? Because we even saw like Chuck D earlier and he even said Chucky. Like, it should have been there. Wow, that's a weird coincidence.
That is a weird, that's how it works. Chucky, man. That was one of the last movies that really scared me. That was, yeah.
Why? Because it's possible that like a doll could come to life?
No, I mean, I don't know. It was the age I was where like that actually it was between that and, wait, what year did Poltergeist come out? Because 86
or 87?
That one. Whoo.
Yeah, Poltergeist was like way back. The original one. Yeah, Craig T. Nelson.
But I think after that, the last
as
movie.
the dad.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
The last movie
82.
after that. 82?
What was 82?
Mm-hmm.
Poltergeist?
80. Wow, 82, the first one?
I was little.
Holy crap.
I was little, bro.
Are we sure the one with Craig T. Nelson? Like,
yeah, because I would have been.
Come to the light, Caroline. That one.
Yeah, I would have been very young.
See, that one was the one, like, dude, the scary, weird clown in the closet. Like, that freaked me out as, like, a kid.
I still laugh
or, like, the tree coming to life and, like, trying to reach into the room and shit.
When I say at the time, that was the last movie that scared me for a while. And until Child's Play, and I don't know why, but something about a doll that's coming to life and killing people just freaks me out. It was like that old China doll. Well, wasn't that an old horror story from way back when? Like when people actually used to read books? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was gonna say Annabelle. They also do it as like the nesting dolls.
Do you remember when people used to read books? Do you remember that?
Do you remember when people would read books?
Did people do that? At one point, didn't people actually read books, right? Nobody
like open it up and go page by page,
At
like
one point.
literally read a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when people literally read books? Like, I'm pretty sure they still read them, but
are you sure?
Yeah, it's a digital copy though.
I feel
occasionally.
Oh,
so you're talking about physical pages,
like an actual physical book,
right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah,
does that still happen?
Is there a point to that, or are you just kind of curious?
I mean,
was 82.
Oh,
wow.
that
Then it went 86, 88, and 2015.
Oh, so Poltergeist 2 was 86. Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess at the age that I was at, I mean, it's scary enough because, okay, they made sense out of it, right? It was an old Indian burial ground or something like that.
Yeah, they disturbed
they only removed the gravestones. And
I don't know if it was Indian. It was just cemetery. So they and it was the thing is like they were supposed to dig up all of the caskets, like dig up all of the graves.
They didn't actually move the graves
and relocate. They didn't do that. They just did the headstones.
They just moved the headstones. It's cheaper, you know.
Well, yeah,
and then smoothed out the land again, and then just built right over top of those dead bodies.
Yeah, and I think in the second one there was the pasture or whatever was coming after Caroline because she's special or whatever because she's able to cross over and stuff. So he's trying to use her to help him cross back over or
just
something
the first
like that.
one. And the point that I was trying to make with that is that at the age that I was impressionable, that movie really affected me until my brother started making fun of it. During one of my subsequent viewings of that movie, he started making fun of it to the point where like I couldn't see it as scary anymore. And it was really kind of, he's like, look at that monster hanging in the doorway. What is that? It's like made out of cotton candy. And like, I just bust out laughing. Like I just totally lost it. And then I started realizing that it's just Hollywood. It's not real. It's not.
Well, that's what goes back to what I was talking about, where you got to embrace your pain, man. You got to laugh at it. Dude, for real. Like that's what it is. Because if not, then it's just going to scare you because it's going to be this thing that seems so huge or monstrous. Once you like look at it like a piece of cotton candy instead, then it's just like.
Maybe I should have had my brother sitting next to me the first time I watched Child's Play because then that wouldn't have affected me the way it did.
I guess. I don't know.
What year was that? Child's Play was.
I think that was like wasn't that like 87?
87, 89.
80, yeah. I feel like it was like the later 80s. I don't know, I was way off on freaking really Poltergeist.
90s? I don't even know.
I was off by that on freaking 4 years.
Late 80s, I'm going with.
I want to say 89.
That's what I'm thinking. Let's see.
Still 1989.
Survey says.
Sound of the funky drummer. Music hitting you so hard because you know we got soul, brothers and sisters. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. Is this where we're at on this? Is this the way it is now? Yes, 88. Yeah, I was right.
All right. 88. Well, it's close. Anyway, as I rant and rave.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be an episode if that didn't happen. We haven't quoted Beastie Boys in a while.
And it always seems we go completely off the rails when it's just about time to quit, doesn't it?
Well, no, it's usually we're getting into a place of like some serious conversation and it's just like, oh, I really want to keep going. Oh, sorry. Time to go.
Well, we may just, I don't know, maybe we'll just start
go down to the bay eat some hay.
Let it keep recording.
I just may.
After.
What do you say?
Just, all right. All right, Adam Sandler. All right.
I had to. That's where you took me.
I was just looking for the other pieces of this bottle.
Oh, there's some right there. There's some right there. Put that down. Yeah, I was about to do that. Let's put that right there. Okay.
Go to Sizzler.
Hey, shooter, want to go to Sizzler? I'm buying.
Shoot your eye out, kid.
Because I said shooter. Shooter McGavin.
You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
No.
You eat shit for breakfast?
No.
Well, I mean, that's what he says. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. That's kind of gross, bro. You can't take her stuff. She's old.
As usual.
She's just too old. You can't.
When we start getting real deep into it, it usually means it's getting close to time to.
It's closing time.
It's pretty much, yeah. You don't have to go home.
Yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I mean, you can stay here, but, not like here with us here.
Not in this room. Well, whatever room you're in.
We're all fine here now. How are you?
Yeah. All right. Hi, I'm Tom.
No, it's Star Wars. Where
I was just, hi, I'm Tom. That's just me.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, what happened? I blacked out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that will happen. Dude, we said it was like just something about repeating or whatever. Like you kept saying repeat. I was like, yeah, that will happen.
A repeating repeater.
Yeah. No, that's what, yeah. Yeah, right this way, Galifianakis.
Not so good with the words and stuff.
Yeah, my word things don't work so well. I'm not properly educated.
Yeah, I'm not a gadget.
I mean, you have an excuse. You've been dropped on your head by yourself and others multiple times.
Mostly by myself. on
you can't laugh at his pain. He's supposed to laugh at his pain, not the.
I should not be laughing when it was.
Mostly by myself onto a plethora of different surfaces.
I love plethora.
A plethora.
Yeah, apparently you've hit your head enough times that you now use the word plethora.
I tested it out inside a steel drum, some macadam, concrete curb. I mean, I was testing the hardness of my head, I guess. What's going on? What?
No, it's time to.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it is actually time. Yeah, we weren't messing with you. This is real.
We got to wrap it up.
Rap with me.
Well, it's been very real as usual, and
literally at the last minute, you got to play with the mic now.
Yes,
I'm gonna send you to like freaking etiquette school or something.
The mics keep rolling. We're just gonna cut it here.
No, we gotta go. Yeah, so this is I'm telling you. And again, if you want to reach out to us, you can just hit us up at ITY@directionsofmusic.org or Gemini @directionsofmusic.org or Philly D @directionsofmusic.org. PHILLY. Yeah.
And the letter D.
Yeah, but
and this show is brought to you by the letters. Oh no.
Yeah, so yeah, if you wanna reach out to us, please do. Yeah, Philly D,
Mr. Gemini,
and a fact checker extraordinaire,
JD.
Yeah, be good to yourself, be good to everyone else. Peace.
Much love. Peace.
Peace.